Hi, my name is Ellie Maletto. I work in financial services, which is not something I ever expected to find myself doing. But I now specialise in sustainable, responsible, ethical finance. So I work for a company called Ethical Futures in Edinburgh, and that is 100% of our focus, helping clients invest in line with their values. So yeah, excited to be here and have a little chat about that today.
What does finance, banking and money have to do with climate change?
I mean, short answer is everything. Long answer is probably more than you realise, if that makes sense. So, I mean, the way I've been thinking about it is, I think everyone has been gripped by the headlines recently about the energy companies making record profits. And rightly, everyone is a little bit upset with these headlines. When I think about it from a financial services perspective, this is why these kind of companies are such safe investments, because they are making profits, they're paying out dividends. And so because of that, they become quite a common feature in people's pensions and investment vehicles. This is going to sound stupid from someone that works in the profession, but when I first started, I didn't even realise that investing in a pension meant I was investing in companies like Shell or BP or, British Tobacco or other things like that. And it is a massive, massive amount of money. I think last figure is something, there's about 3 trillion, just under 3 trillion in UK pensions alone. And obviously so much of that money could be going to funding things that are better for the planet and better for our society.
It feels like we've been signed up to this without even knowing. What can individuals do when it comes to finance and banking?
There's certain things you can do. With finance, it's hard. I'd say the main thing is to research and find out what you're in. It can be really hard to extract that information. And kind of like we were chatting about earlier, a lot of it is education. I think financial education is really lacking in this country. You need to really think about what your values are, what kind of things you would want to invest in. And all investments come with an element of risk. So it's quite a hard topic to broach. You need to sit down, really think about it carefully with the right sort of guidance and help.
I love research. I love the idea of finding just what's right, but I'm all about faff. Is it faff at the end when you're actually trying to make the switch?
No, not always. A lot of it is really streamlined. So take banks, for example. Some of the mainstream kind of high street banks are some of the worst and will be financing coal, oil, gas, armaments trade. But you could switch to, there's banks like Triodos. Even the app-based ones like Monzo and Starling are quite a lot more sort of eco-friendly, if you like, in the way they work. It takes something like 7 days to switch. Everything switches over, all your direct debits, everything.
It's great that there's stuff we can do as individuals, but it feels like more responsibility should be with big firms, big finance. What are they doing to solve this?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely initiatives being taken. In the UK, we're waiting for our financial regulators to come up with some guidelines. There are some in Europe, but obviously since Brexit, they no longer apply to us. The thing I'm really excited about is that it can help combat a bit of greenwashing in the space, because like everything that's going on in finance, so that's why I was going on about research, and that's why it's so important, because there are some baddies still out there who are trying to make themselves seem greener than they are. So there's definitely some stuff in the works, but I think it could probably be doing more to fund more stuff, and I just hope we're not going to move backwards.
That's so interesting to know all that's going on. But is there any quick wins that the government could be taking, or any initiatives that you hope they look into?
I mean, they need to deal with the oil and gas, I think, would be the biggest thing to look at. The government have a lot more power in this than we realise. Obviously, the consumer, people's pension money, savings, that all goes in the same bucket. And, moving your money around in your pension and saying, no, I don't want to be part of this, I don't want to invest in that, is probably one of the biggest actions we can take, to be honest.
Chatting about climate finance was really interesting. It's something I've thought about before, but never quite knew the full extent of what I could do as an individual. But I'm also looking forward to the fact that we are going to get some regulations coming in the UK, and we are beginning to see governments taking responsibility, because often it feels like you're in it alone. I think I want to go and research more about all of the options available for me. I think I've done the very basics, but now I'm excited to go and look into how far I can go.